What's good, everyone? I hope you're having a great start to your morning. I hope you had a great weekend. What's good, everyone? I hope you're having. I always keep forgetting about that, so I know that the audio is going well. Um, yeah, so I guess yesterday we were supposed to stream, but I ended up not streaming. As we can see, yesterday we just had a large just dump, and I didn't think that we would see anything that would be beneficial for us to take a trade or kind of move forward. So we're gonna kind of get into today. Again, for me as well, I'm not really excited about today. I'm more have a little more, we'll say, interest in tomorrow after FOMC. But today we'll do a little bit of tape reading. I won't be taking any trades today, but just kind of want to get back into just looking at the market and see what we get today. We do have some news. Again, I always check because I don't want what happened last week to happen again. So we do have the 10 a.m. consumer confidence. So yeah, pretty much that's the news that we check every single day. And also, like, just looking at it, and I can kind of already tell, at least if we stay in the same range, we'll have a small anemic opening range gap, which means that I'd have to wait for 10 o'clock to look at anything anyways. Again, which is just kind of letting me know and further emphasizing the point that today is just not a day for me to trade with, to put anything on the table. Even if, it's demo trading, which is what I'm doing. Yeah, for me, it's not worth the risk to put on the trade. So we'll start from the higher time frame down. Again, this is the weekly chart. And this is the daily chart, and then we have the 1 hour chart. So the weekly imbalance, we reclaimed it last week, traded up, and then now have pretty much dumped down, and we have traded through this order block in terms of the wick, but the body as of right now has stayed in the upper portion. We have on the daily chart this inverse fair value gap with this also fair value gap, bullish fair value gap there. The bodies as of right now are closed above, so that's a good sign. I think that this was a way to take people out before we go higher. Again, my eyes are still up here based off what we're seeing with ES. On an hourly chart, this is kind of what it looks like. So I want to kind of note we have some minor SMT right now. Yesterday we had this that I saw, and so the afternoon session was, you saw a nice little run back up into the range there. And then currently right now, this is the SMT that we have with NQ and ES. So again, slight bullishness potentially could be what we would be looking for. But again, to me, low interest, not going to be really trying to do too much, and just going to be trying to read price action. That's what the goal is for today, is just to read it and to see what are we getting, just to get kind of back in tune with the market. So again, if I kind of show this, the regular trading hours, we're not really far from yesterday's close at 4:14. So that lets me know I gotta wait till 10 o'clock. And again, with no interest in today, again, just further emphasizes that. So I'm gonna go to this chart. So this is kind of what I see. This is a 4 hour. This is where I get my levels, where I'm looking for the upper portion if I'm bullish to hold price, to go higher. If I'm bearish, I look for the lower portion. Now, just with the understanding that I would still like to see higher prices and see if we can kind of run up there and take those equal highs, which we may not do at all. We may have to come back to that later in the year. But this is kind of what I see. I'll go to the 4 hour chart. And so I'm looking at this as a reclaimed fair value gap. We came here, respected the middle, and so I would expect this order block from the open down to the middle of it, and also that it forms in the upper portion. I'd like to see it remain, I'd like to see it held. And so if it's not able to hold, then it also tells me something else, and we're probably looking for this, but I don't believe that that's what we'll be getting today, but we could. So the 4 hour chart, that's why I have that pink box. And then this, it's on the wrong candle, but this right here is a breaker. It also forms in the upper portion on the 15-minute chart. So that's essentially what I'm looking for, right? We have buy side there, which we can note I'm wondering if we actually had SMT there. I don't know. No, we did not. So nothing there. Everything's in alignment there. So yeah, we got buy side here, sell side there as well. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I'm looking for, and we'll kind of see what we get today. Again, not very excited. That's why you don't see any buying or selling up here, because this is tape reading. I have no interest in actually trading today. My focus would be on tomorrow after FOMC minutes, so after 2:30 tomorrow is when I have more of interest for this week, and then Thursday and Friday for me would be after the 9:30 opening bell. Those are the days that I have more of my focus on. So I don't want to risk anything in environments that I don't feel are prime for me to take trades. So that's pretty much all the breakdown for the morning, and that's all that will be doing. I did do a little bit of looking at, I guess it's like deep link or whatever it's called, and they say that, you know, that's the reason why the market went lower. It's just a smoke screen. I think it's to kind of wipe some people out before, you know, what they're actually trying to do. That's my thought process. But we shall see what we get today. Yesterday's price action, I mean, it's really nothing to be excited about. We had pretty much a run off the open, and then pretty much nothing. We came up, trade down, and then the last hour macro, pretty much those macros together kind of created this low, and we ran up above this high. So there was if anything, there was a better opportunity to trade after in the afternoon, but mostly the last hour. That was the only time where I believed that there was at least some type of framework to do anything. But yeah, just kind of, we'll see if this holds. We'll see if, you know, it creates another some more SMT. I do see this as well, and that would be reclaimed also with this. So we may see a little bit lower out of Nasdaq in the beginning. Because of that, you have this reclaimed, and then you have this fair value gap with this order block also in the lower portion of this. So we could see some of this on Nasdaq actually get ran out and still ultimately trade higher. I mean, I'm not expecting massive movement today, but anything is possible. Yeah, this is the new day opening gap for today. As you see, that's kind of where we are, and what we're kind of banging around all of these levels. So, and yeah, when I'm talking about like new day opening gaps and stuff, I have another screen that has pretty much all of this stuff on there. New day opening gap, new week opening gap. I have the SMT there. First presented fair value gap, and then like my matrix chart, which is the 5 minute all the way down to the 1 minute chart, so I can see what it looks like on those charts as well. Yeah, and I think that that's kind of important to see the framework, because I like looking at things that overlap and stack in certain areas. So this gives me the ability to see things working together, and it allows me to feel more confident in the trades or in whatever I'm taking. Let's make this a little bit bigger, just so we can see. But yeah, that's all it is today. I mean, we can note it here that let's do it here. This is the buy side that we have. Yeah, this is the buy side there. then we have, yep, and I'm wondering if it's kind of, you know, setting up a little bit of a market maker model. You see this there, so we'll see what we get here underneath that low. I mean, there's sell side there, but also there. This would be the low of the current day low, so which we're kind of really close to. So this is kind of like the range, I believe, and kind of how I'm figuring out where we are in terms of discount or a premium. And we do have this low there. We do have this low here too, but I think those two highs, and that's the current high of the day and the current low of the day pretty much. As you see, we've gone sideways. So pretty much what I'm looking at. So if in fact we do end up trading higher and maybe come up here, I would prefer to see it actually come down here first, take this out, or if it doesn't, show SMT taking this out, leaving this in place, and then showing some excitement to move higher. That's what I would be looking to see if that can happen. But yeah, we have SMT with Dow. But again, Dow likes to do its own thing. So currently there and there, Dow likes to do its own thing. So not as, I would say, as important. But if we start to get another mixed opening, again, telling me that I don't want to be in, I'm not interested in this day even more. But yeah, anytime if you can't hear me or something is off, can you just let me know so I can try to fix that. But I think everything should be going well. I think you guys can hear me, and I don't think the stream is having any problems. So yeah, just let me know. But yeah, we just patiently wait. There's nothing really to do right now. Also, like, we're kind of in the middle of nowhere in terms of new week opening gaps. We have one below us, but we have a cluster above us. So and the current new week opening gap is above us as well. So that's why I believe we're going to draw higher. I just don't know if that's what we'll do today, but that's kind of what's there. Now, this is something I kind of want to note as well. That's here. I'll kind of explain it a little bit. So remember I was telling you about how on this chart we have this inverse fair value gap, and then we have this. I'll just show it. So we have this candle here that got inversed, because I just want to kind of show and break down how I actually am looking to in my trades and what I'm looking for. So this is why I also believe we could trade a little bit lower. So this is the inverse fair value gap that we trade through, we come back, and then what would I expect? I would expect the lower portion of this to be held. Then what do we form? We form another 15-minute fair value gap inside of this. So then where is my interest? So we already see that we have a breaker here on the 5-minute chart. If I zoom in here, on the 5-minute chart, we have a breaker here. High, low, higher, high, breaks down below. So inside of this breaker, I would like it to form on the lower portion. But this is the entire breaker. Now, why is it not probably my favorite one? It's because we don't form anything in the lower portion of this higher time frame breaker. It's up here. It doesn't mean that it can't pan out, but I know that it's up here. I'd rather see it form like this, the same setup that you see up here, how you see, now it's getting kind of noisy, but you see how it breaks this low. We have this fair value gap here, accompanied with a 15-minute fair value gap, accompanied with a 5-minute order block, 5-minute breaker, and then we have a 1-minute fair value gap in the lower portion of a 15-minute fair value gap, inverse fair value gap. Then we have an order block up here. So this is like the scenario that I like, that I call stacking. that we have this fair value, we have all the time frames kind of overlapping. So that's why I do think we could potentially trade a little bit lower. It's just like the time of this trade is not my trade, and also the elements, right? I don't necessarily really want to see that. Yeah, it trade up that high. It is in the lower portion of a higher time frame gap, which is important to me. But notice how like on the 5-minute chart, you don't really see this gap, but you see on the 15-minute chart. That's what I think is very, very important. That's what helped me start to pick better trades and understand when I should be engaging in the market and when I should just be sitting still. Because of that signature there, where they're overlapping in the lower portion, even if this was to like lose, let's say I was actually to take this and I put my stop loss up there and it goes up here and does that, that's fine. This is just a framework of how I look for my trades, and it doesn't change. And that's what I think helps when you're trying to become consistent or look for or have a consistent model or setup. Now, an instant, like for instance, let's say we're in this trade right now, which this would be a very, very long trade. But let's say we're in this trade, I would want to see this candle here reject price, like hold price and not allow it to trade higher, and then shoot for here and there if I was in this trade, which I'm not, but I just want to highlight what I'm looking for. That's how I filter out my trades. Yep, so 15-minute order block, also a 5-minute order block there as well, again accompanying that, respected with this breaker. So I like to see this low get taken out. And then also for my trades, in order for it to be a good trade for me, it needs to offer, in order for me to take the trade, it needs to offer 50 handles. I always do this just so there's understanding. Well, that's not right there. So it needs to offer this much distance to where I believe it's going to go. So let's say I was bullish and I was looking to buy, and I thought that it could reach up there. So if I was to buy right now, and but if it offers that, at least this range, I like that. I like these trades like this even more, when it can offer more than 50 handles before that it reaches where I believe it can go. So these are like my A+ setups. It would be like something like this one would be like it's still an okay setup because we have 50 handles here, which is above this high. We have other highs back there, and I think that it can go higher. That's okay, but I like trades where it's before. Those are my favorite ones. But yeah, so if I was bearish, I would expect this 15-minute candle here to hold price along with this one. I'd actually see this more as a propulsion block on the 5-minute chart, not allowing it to trade up to the middle, and then look for this low and the trade lower. That's what I would have been looking for if I was in this trade. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can kind of see here. But again, very anemic, I think it's this one. Very anemic opening range gap, so like it might even be the same price. We may have something less than like 10 handles, and that's like, it's probably gonna be a very, very choppy morning. I'll probably be looking to go until Um, I'll say 11, 10:30 to 11, somewhere around there. That's when I'll probably hop off because I'm not really interested in today. But it'll be a good tape reading day, good day to exercise patience. I have about 4 minutes or so until the equity market opens. Again, yeah, I'm expecting some choppiness. Like that's already the expectation for today. In the morning session, I'm not expecting something very, very clean. And if it ends up being very, very clean, then that's just what today is. But I am not in any way, shape, or form engaging. I have no interest. And that was the hardest thing for me kind of getting into trading, was being able to sit and watch price and not actually have to do something. I always felt like I had to do something, I had to buy or sell to prove something to either people or to myself, and that just always never works, and it just kind of sets you back. I know what I'm looking for. I know what days I really want to trade, and if today ends up being a clean day and it's the best one of the week, well then that's just what it is. But yeah, we may get like a mixed open. We have Dow trading higher, ES is trading higher, but we'll see if Nasdaq can hold this and see if it wants to go for its low, or if it'll trade higher. Because I mean, yeah, to me, like it's right at the opening price. It wouldn't have changed. That would be less than a handle. And so, yeah, that's just not it. Not a good day to be wanting to really trade this, in my opinion. Anybody have any questions? We also just hit the low of the new day opening gap from of today. We just hit that. I think we have it on this chart. Yeah, so we hit the low end of that with this breaker again. Like this is what I like also seeing as well. Like when I see them accompanied with things like this, or first present the fair value gap or something like that, it helps give me more confidence while I'm in the trade. Yep, I'd want to see this candle again. Like we kind of traded through it here on the 5-minute chart as well. I'm looking at the bodies. If I was in this trade, again, this is not something that I would like as much, because I told you where this formed and how it's in the upper portion. Doesn't mean that it can't pan out. It's just like not one of my favorite ones. So if I did see this and I was really confident in it trading down here, this would be a trade with less leverage for me than on any normal day. Since we don't really have that, we'll focus on this. Yeah, Dow looks like it might take out this high here, or its high pretty much there. So we'll see what we get off the open. About 7 seconds until the market opens. So let's market open there. Let's go look at this again. Yeah, very anemic gap. So that's the low, that's the high, but I don't need this. So that's the high, that's the low. Look how there's no separation from pretty much today and yesterday. It's just not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So that tells me there, like let's say this was a normal day that I was actually interested in, that lets me know that I can't take a trade until 10 o'clock. So I'd have to wait anyways. Have to wait until 10 to see and let it kind of work itself out. Again, kind of a mixed open. So more reasons to just sit on my hands. So again, we're able to take out this low, which is what we were kind of looking for. So currently right now we would have SMT. We hit the 15-minute breaker as we can kind of, let's back out a little bit here. 15-minute breaker here in the upper portion of a 4-hour inverse fair value gap. So we have sell side there, which is the low of the day. So that's the current daily low. So we'll see kind of what we get here. Also, if we get a fair value gap here, again, that's a large first presented fair value gap, which would form at 9:31, which is early on, which is something I like. But that's what it looks like we're gonna get here. So we have the same thing in ES. So we're having that, let's go back to this. So we have had this one taken out. Now, do we have the same thing with this exact low? Does this low get taken out here? There? Because we've taken it out again. Just so we know. So let's go back to here. This is the first presented fair value gap. So I'm gonna put it on in yellow. Usually it's like a little green, but since we're kind of watching today, that's the first presented fair value gap there that we see. Let's put it right there. On a 1-minute chart. Remember, we do have news today at 10. Have to be wary of that. We do not currently right now we still have the SMT with that low. Dow is trading higher, these are trading lower. So yeah, mixed open. But this, I'm not expecting this to be used as resistance. I'd want to see it trade through it and see if we can start to attack these highs up here. That's what I would want to see. I wouldn't be trying to sell into this. Yeah, Dow took out its high. I guess this respective high up here. Dow has taken that out currently. So another, just mixed open. So, and like for me to even like really want to be doing analysis on how we're going to move forward, I have to wait till here. And we also remember that we have news at 10 o'clock. So even more reason to just kind of sit on my hands and just wait and see what we can get. Again, Dow doing its own thing. These are remaining kind of heavy. But we have Dow just tearing off as these are going lower. No interest. Again, things can change. But yeah, just sitting on my hands. I'm not in a rush to do anything. Just kind of sitting here. Also want to see and note the same low here. So if we take this low out here, all right, this is the current day low, or intraday low. That's what we would call it. This right here is it as well. So we hit that. We're not anywhere close to that. Doesn't mean it can't get down there. But also we have these two going lower and then this going higher as of right now. So I'm just not really interested in that right now. So we've hit this low, the sell side. Now I'd want to see, do we continue to expand below it, or are we going to start trading higher? And then can we see the same thing in ES? That's what I'm looking to see. Actually, I like that. This red, so we can see that. I think it's this color. That's what I'm looking for. But again, we had the respect of this inverse fair value gap with the list forming the lower portion. We came back and hit the opening here, the opening price, and then we just traded softer down to this low. Ultimately, we're looking for this low, but this was the intraday low. So that would be where more of the liquidity would be resting, especially if people saw this go up higher. That's where the target would be, right there. I'm not seeing a lot of crazy expansion there. We traded back down into the previous day's first presented fair value gap. That also formed at 931. So we'll see kind of what we're going to get there at this low. Also hitting the January 17th new day opening gap as well. So see what we're getting there. Again, if we're, bearish, we'd want to be seeing this gap hold and not even be able to trade up here, up any higher. It'd have to be held here and kind of reject if we're truly bearish and like heavy, as heavy as it looks. But for me, there's nothing to do yet. Just want to make sure it's just a little bit more cleaner, so you can see. But yeah, if I was in this trade right now, this would be worrisome because we're kind of consolidating right at the low. Like we're not expanding past below it. Notice how the body's closed above it. I would want it, had already kind of seen it hit this. Maybe you can come up here, but kind of already start expanding below the low if I was short from the first presented fair value gap here. That would be concerning for me, that like what it's looking like and what it's doing. It looks like to me it's consolidating. It looks like it's buying, trying to buy below here and look like if we could, potentially go up a little bit higher. That's how I'm visually seeing it right now. especially with Dow. Dow had just taken this high out. ES has not yet taken out its equivalent low. So yeah, it could be holding and maybe waiting for that. Or this could be the kind of like the reversal. As of right now, we've gotten the respect there. The body's unable to even close up in here. So just watching that, and ES looks like it's trying to reach down to its equivalent low. Dow is reaching off from the high that it's taken. Let's show that. So this high, Dow took it. This is nowhere close to it, and same with this one. Again, the equivalent low that we'd be looking for is there. Dow, Nasdaq is below it. ES is not quite there yet. But yeah, that's kind of what it is for me. But again, looking at this from the higher time frame, notice where this setup necessarily forms in the lower portion. So you take this breaker, we're going to highlight it. Look where the setup forms. Let's do that just so you can see. Notice that this is the 5-minute breaker, but notice where the actual entry forms. I'm not talking about anything else other than where the entry forms. The lower portion actually hits that and then rejects. Now again, yes, I called it going lower, but again, I'm not looking really for lower prices. And I have no interest in today anyway, so it doesn't really matter, but I just kind of want to show you the framework of like how I look for my setups and what I'm exactly looking for in each trade. Taking a deep dive down into the oops. I'm on my other screens and I keep dragging levels that I have. But yeah, it looks like we're kind of also close to the bottom end of the first presented fair value gap from yesterday. We're almost there. I think right there is about like where it is. So less than a couple handles away. So now we've completely closed it in. Again, ES looks like it's close to it. This is way below it. So, and then Dow is trading up here again, mixed open. Not interested. We also have about 15 minutes until the market opens. Until the news hits. So that's another key factor into this also for me. Do we just scream and roll over top of this, or we start respecting? Because at this point, trading up into this fair value gap again to me makes no sense. If I was short, it doesn't make sense. But we do have Dow kind of rejecting a little bit and kind of maybe following suit. Just want to show you this. See that rejection there? Maybe it wants to go down here, and this we have this volume imbalance right there as well. ES came really close. I would hope or expect, not hope, I would expect to see it trade down and take this low out. But if it doesn't, it's that's okay as well. But that's my expectation. So we have these order blocks here, and then look on the 5-minute chart, how that's an immediate rebalance with this gap. The buyers being respected. That's like the type of overlapping also occurs where at this low. That's like signatures I like to see in my trades when I'm in them. I want to see them overlap. I would like to not see this trade as high, but that's what I like to see. Okay, so ES did take out its respective low, and then now you have Dow trading along. So potentially could see us, shoot down here. Just looking at this price action now, where it looks like everything now is in motion to go lower. That's when I'm more likely to start paying more attention. Again, there's nothing I'm going to be doing today, but just my thought process and how I look at the market and what I'm looking and waiting for. Again, I'm expecting bullishness to occur. I would like to see this hold, but I'm expecting bullishness to occur in the upper portion of a higher time frame level, which is this 4-hour reclaimed gap. And again, I could be wrong. Okay, sorry about that. So I'm pretty much, again, expecting to see price go a little bit higher. Just kind of what we're seeing, but ultimately we'll see what the framework and what the setup is in about at 10 o'clock. Again, that's when would be the first time I'd be able to take a trade. But again, not exercising that, not going to take today. I'm not going to put any risk on today. So that is the business for today. And so if it ends up being, let's say we do have a bearish sense or setup that would happen to occur after 10 o'clock, and we're tape reading, and we create this fair value gap here, again, I would say, okay, this is the breaker here on the upside. I'd want to see this portion, the body or the middle of it down to the low, be able to hold price. Also with this fair value gap, the same thing. I'd want to see that remain lower or heavy. But we just have to kind of wait and let us see what price is going to be offering or what it's going to show. So right now we have the macro, the 950 to 1010 macro, and that's around a time element when we would expect to see price start to spool in a direction. So if we go back here, again, we had this close above, close below, and then has come back up. This has failed to close below as of right now with 7 minutes left. Again, we would be expecting, again, bullish price action. That's what I was looking for today. And we'll see what we end up getting there. So look at this. If we end up, closing above this bullishly, and we show a sense of higher price action, again, after 10 o'clock this time when the news comes out, this again, I'd be looking at this as a bullish breaker, and then I'd be targeting this high, but ultimately up to there. That would be like the thought process for me and what I'd be looking for if that was to occur. To see how are we to see bullishness, bearishness, are we going to respect this gap right here? Preferably I'd want to see if we're in fact going to be going bullish or be trading higher. I'd want to see this hold, and I would like to see it not even trade to this lower portion. This would be a breaker on a smaller time frame. We have a high, low, higher, high. Again, where's the breaker forming in the upper portion? I'd want to see us not come down and close this and even hit the middle, and I'd want to see us start to trade higher. That would give me an inkling that we're a lot more bullish than bearish, at least at the moment. And then we have these equal highs up here. We have stuff up here that would draw my attention. But again, everything has to occur for me after. We can leave that on there. Have to occur after 10 o'clock. That's essentially what I'd be looking for. Because now we're also in the upper portion of this higher time frame gap, which is a 4-hour inverse fair value gap. We're also in the upper portion of yesterday's first presented fair value gap, and so we have this buy side right here. Then we have this high up there, which could be the target. So we got this, at least initial nice reaction. We've closed above this, so I would expect this candle that forms at 953 to hold us and trade up to there and see if we can reach there. That's what I would be looking for if we can do that, but we hit the first presented again. It looks like it. But yeah, this candle here, I'd expect us to hold and trade higher if we're in fact as bullish or more looking on the bullish price action now. That's essentially what I'd be looking for. Does this candle hold? And I don't want to see it trade back below here. Let's put this on the top. That would be what I would be looking for. This needs to be like this, actually. So I like that reaction there. And I also like what we're getting initially. Because looking on the 5-minute chart, we're inside of this gap there. But how high we trade up into the reactions that we're kind of seeing here, I would expect this 930 high at least to get hit. I'd want to see us trade through that first presented fair value gap from today. That's what this is. I want to see us trade through it, like not have a lot of resistance there. This wick, just run through all of this. That's what I'd be expecting. So again, let's just kind of note this buy side there as well. Right here is buy side liquidity. Now, if I didn't have to wait until 10 o'clock, that's the trade setup. But again, not interested in today, but that's where it would be. With this breaker, we inverse that. I'm starting to see support on all of them. So I would have been looking there and looking to take out. Well, let's go back and just make sure. Yeah, that's more than enough. So it'd be more than enough for me to take a trade there. But I mean, we need to see a little bit more movement in this. I kind of want to see it trade above that wick. I don't want it to see the wick hold price, which is this 50% line. That's what I do not want to see be respected. Kind of want to see it traded through. And again, tack this high because we have a little bit of buy side there. A little bit of buy side there. But yes, so that's what I would be looking for, and we're seeing some nice, large range bullish candles here, which would be very supportive of what we're looking for in price. Again, this would also be a breaker as well. This lower portion here, that's a breaker too, but that to me is more the setup there and attacking there and there. We do have news soon, so again, 50 handles would be already hit. It's pretty much there. Usually I go 52, which it would have hit anyways. So that's essentially what I look for in my trade. So if this was a live trade for me, it'd be from literally there to where it just hit now, and I'd be done. That'd be the full trade. But yes, would like to see this lower end of this first presented fair value gap hold with this breaker. The bodies, I would like to see them hold where they are, not necessarily trading outside, and then trade up here. Again, don't want the wick to be any type of resistance, just kind of smooth right through that, hit this buy side, ultimately all the way up there is what we're kind of looking for. So about 24 seconds left until the news comes out. But yeah, that's kind of like what I'd be looking for and what I was looking for in terms of a potential setup and what the expectations. Now, again, this could just melt, but I'm expecting it to trade above and at least hit this, because this is where the midpoint of the opening new day opening gap is from today, is pretty much right above this high. So I would expect it to, trade up there at least. May not be able to get up here, but that's at least the target area where I'm looking for a price to hit. And then we'll see if we have enough to get up to this buy side up here. But this trade setup was able to offer more than 50 handles. So we'll see how we'll see if it can even reach up to here. S&P is looking a little bit softer than Nasdaq is, but I believe that Nasdaq can hit this 930 high. So now we just hit the lower end of the new day opening gap, and then if we can get up here, that'll be a nice buy side, a nice picture from there all the way up to there. Again, that's what we're looking for, and then we would see, do we have enough strength to get up to this buy side right here? That would be the next target for me. It may be able to, it may not. You know, that's just, okay, picture there. And then we'll see if we can run up to this buy side. Now, if we can do that, I'm most likely probably going to get off. We don't need to be on here for that long. A setup kind of occurred because that's all I would necessarily be looking for. So I don't need to be on here and just kind of waste some time. But yeah, again, kind of what I was saying was we want to see up here, especially if we fail here. I would kind of like that a little bit, like come a little bit close, fail, create a fair value gap here, and this would be a 5-minute breaker. But to me, this is the setup is there that forms at 9:53 up to there. But again, because of the restrictions, because of the time element, how small the gap was, not necessarily high probability for me. And my understanding as of right now, maybe later on in my career, I feel more comfortable taking this stuff. But just right now, those are the rules, and I have to wait till 10 o'clock to take anything. So yeah, since a very low interest day, and you know, kind of got some nice price action from moving from an area which we would like to see it move from, that to me is good enough. Now I would like this because we have 2 minutes left. We create a gap above here, and yeah, I mean, potentially, hold up, let me take this so it's on this. So we trade above that high. Again, the higher time frame buy side, again, we were looking for this specific low to get taken out to see if we can trade up all the way up to there. That was the framework and what we were looking for. Now we'll see if this gets hit first, or kind of what happens here. Like once this gets hit, if it can get hit, you know, I'll kind of turn the stream off and just kind of think about what other things could potentially be happening. Again, create a fair value gap here, which it doesn't look like we're going to do. It looks like we'll just kind of run straight up there. But that's the framework of a trade that I'm looking for. How it's overlapping and things make sense for me. And what I'm looking for, higher prices and just the lower. There we go. Bingo. Okay, so let's just put this on here. Oops, don't want that. I want it on this one. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the trade setup. That's the cleanest. I mean, that's essentially what we'll be looking for, and it offered way more than 50 handles. Remember, again, all I'm looking for is it to go. Usually it's 52. I say 50, but usually it ends up being 52. So from entry, that's all to right there is all I was looking for. So that's as far as you need to go. It definitely went more than that. It went probably double. But if I can find setups that offer this, that's just all I'm looking for every single day. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing else for me today that I'd be interested in, especially because it's not a day that I'm gonna sit here and wait. But that was a good tape reading session. I'm trying to figure out if I'm actually going to stream the PM session tomorrow, because I'll be trading. But I don't know, I may just I'll let you guys know on my community tab what I'll end up doing. Again, thank you for popping in and coming to see the stream. I appreciate those of you who have come, and I will see you guys on the next one. I hope you guys have a safe day of trading if you're trading, and if not, I'll see you guys the next time I stream.